Okay.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today, I have this amazing guest with me, and we are going to talk about if you're white, don't call me sis. Very huge topic, very, very controversial topic for many white people. So, what's your take on the whole situation? That video went through the roof in TikTok. So,
I think that it very much so screams white privilege. I think that anything that Black people have for ourselves, white people automatically feel obligated to have an end on that. And you do not. That's not how that works. The term cis, as well as all AAVE, like just African American, like our vernacular, the way that we talk to each other, the term cis is a term of endearment. It actually has meaning between Black women. It is a term of love and affection. It is me looking at you, knowing that we are the same and we have a shared experience in something called Black struggle. It is not just me saying like, oh, hey, girl, like it's not that. And I think that for white women to be upset because you cannot say that very much speaks to really who they are and not really who we are. Because why is it that you feel like you should have an end on everything that is ours? I think that some Black women don't care, and that's fine. But you, just because a Black woman or a few Black women say they don't care, does not give you the permission to call all Black women that. Because no one can give you the permission to call somebody else something. And I think it's just a very simple, it's a very simple thing to respect when someone tells you, hey, I don't feel comfortable with you calling me that. Please don't call me that. I don't understand what is the like the urgency to be so disrespectful as in to say like, no, I'm going to call you that because it's just a word. But it's not just a word. Just
I
like
think it
racism just isn't a word, and hatred, just like words have meaning. But I think that when it comes to Black people and things that
yeah.
we create for ourselves in our own
It could
space.
white people on like, oh, the N word is just a word. If Black people don't want us, oh, I think the connection just went a little bit off now. Sorry. So
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean, like,
no.
do you think it's comparable to the invasion and intruding white people do whenever Black people bring up the topic about them not using the N word, not even in songs, not lip sync this, on TikTok? Oh, but if you don't want to use it, then if you don't want us to use it, then why are you using it among yourselves? Do you think it's comparable?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Except that the only thing that is the difference is because the N word is it stemmed from a very derogatory word that was used towards Black people, and Black people took it, and we took basically the power out of it for white people, and we now use it like within our own community. So that's the only thing is that the word cis. Hello, sorry, somebody was calling me. The word cis isn't like a derogatory term, but yes, it's very much so. It's like parallel at the fact that once again, something that Black people are saying, you cannot say this, is that's really what it stems in. It doesn't matter the word. If we
Yeah.
were calling each other like, if Black people were calling each other billy goats, and we were like, white people, you cannot say, you cannot call us billy goats. Now all white people are going to be like, well, why can't I call you a billy goat? You're saying, like, it does not matter the word. The word is not the issue. The issue is that we are saying, white people, you cannot say this to us. That is all it is. It is because the white privilege in you makes you, and white people makes you feel like you have no boundaries, that you have no boundaries
Yeah.
with nobody. And that's not true, because as a white person, you feel like you have boundaries. But when it comes to everyone else, especially Black people, you feel like you have no boundaries. And you don't respect our boundaries. And that's really all it boils down to, is you don't get to call me the N-word. You don't get to call me sis. You don't get to say that to me because you're not Black. It's that simple. You are not Black. You do not have my shared experience as a Black person in America. You are not me. So you do not get to say that. And I don't, as a Black person, you should not have to explain to you over and over again or validate to you why you cannot say things are specifically telling you it's disrespectful.
Do you think the history behind like the word cis, one of the many arguments I've been seeing and reading and hearing on TikTok is that white women are like, oh, but cis is just the shortcut for sister, and sister is an English word, so it cannot be gate kept by Black people. But that's not what it literally is, right? I mean, there is a deeper, like in that, from my understanding, to be honest, I have no idea about African American vernacular English. I'm not familiar to that. I was just like last week year old when I found out that period is actually coming from the same AAVE. I didn't know either. So
Right.
is it technically that the word cis in AAVE, it's a word on its own, and sister in English is a word on its own? Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Very much so. Yes. Very much so. It is two different words, and cis in AAVE is a word on its own than sister in English. Very much so. Yes.
So that
And
that to my understanding, that now gives very much justification and explanation to why Black people are like, but this is our word that we developed in our own slangs or languages that we came up with for our own benefit and our own historical context. So when you come at this, is just like we said, it's literally the same with the N word, just that the background and the meaning is different. But it's
right.
still something. I mean, like in German, there are different words that Germans use among each other. So when one German, for example, calls another German Allmann, okay, that's a word that some people use in like as an insult, but it's technically not an insult. It's not an insult. And I think it's the same with, for example, the word asshole. Like I once had an argument with an old elderly white man that was using the N-word in a live TV show, and he was completely fine with it. And he was like, but I just replied, or I kind of like just repeated what someone said, and that person used the N-word. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and call you an asshole and tell you not to be offended, because asshole is only a still be of you. I have given that word a different meaning from its original context. So I don't really get, like, in your personal life, like when you encounter white people, do you like in America, are there people in TikTok? I mean, like,
I'm sorry if your phone broke up a little bit. You said when I encounter white people, what? Say, can you
like
repeat that?
like okay, like when you encounter white people, like in your environment, in your maybe your workplace, your daily, are they really like the ones I'm seeing on TikTok? Like, is that really what's happening, or is that just the internet giving them like kind of a platform to have the guts that they would never have in real life?
Well, no, a lot of no. Okay, so yes, a lot of the stuff that you see on TikTok is very like hyper inflated because white people feel like this gives them a platform to say and do all the things they will never do in Black people's faces. But do not get it twisted that the day-to-day racism that you see and the hatred that you see projected towards Black people on TikTok is very much so what happens in America every day. That is very much so the environment here. That is very much so the norm and the standard here for Black people. Now, the shit that they say is very much so hyperinflated because they know they would not come say that to our face. But the intention and
Yeah.
the rhetoric and the hatred and the racism that you see, that is just completely like plastered across TikTok. It's very much so what Black Americans go through every day in this country. That is an accurate portrayal.
How do you deal with that? I mean, like, because sometimes, you know, sometimes people send me content. They're like, oh, this is a white person being racist. Can you stitch it? Can you talk about it? And even though I can accept myself from that, which is white privilege, of course, because I am not affected by racism, it still triggers the shit out of me, not going to lie. It makes me angry. It makes me furious. It makes me want to squeeze their neck, you know? So I'm thinking, if it can get to me like that, then how do you deal with that? I mean, how do you keep your sanity?
I would say that, you know, you, because you are white, but you are German, you are living in a different country. So you don't have the same experiences, or you're not linked to the same things that white people in America are linked to. So that's why it's so hard for you to understand how can these white people be like this, right? But to answer your question, it literally is just a day-to-day process. It literally is a like, it's an overwhelming thing. It's a very overwhelming thing to live in a country that was built on the backs of your ancestors for free. To live in a country where everything here would not be so had it not been for your people. And for these people to treat you like you are less than fucking human, for them to be able to kill us in the street like dogs, kill us in our own homes like we are nothing and get away with it, to actually elect a president who is openly racist, an open bigot, an open sexist. Like, it is very exhausting. It is exhausting to the point of like, sometimes you literally could almost lose your fucking mind. But the one thing that keeps me sane is I do a lot of activism. I do a lot of work in my own community, and also because I know who I am and who my people were before slavery. The trick that American white people try to inflict on Black people is to say that our history started with slavery, and that is not true.
Yeah, that's
so
bullshit.
It comes to when you have to learn about who you were, and who we were as a people before slavery was attached to us in our color and essentially our essence. But I will say that it takes a lot. It takes a lot to deal with white Americans, to deal with being in a country that has always been racist, to live in a country that was founded on principles of racism, and every system that was put in place is built on principles of racism. And then you are Black living in a country like that. I don't think that people really understand what Black Americans have been through. And everybody wants us to just get over it and let it go. And it was so long ago. But
That's
what you
not
don't
possible.
understand is Jim Crow South wasn't that long ago. Donald Trump was just just president as of January. You want us to get over something, but you're continuously doing it to us. Black people have no space in America that is safe for us. That is a place where we can heal. That is a place where we can find that validation or peace. We have no space here. And every time we try to build a space like that, they fucking tear it down. So it's a never ending cycle of like trying to progress your people, but still being in a place surrounded by your oppressors. It's a hard fucking pill to swallow. And I really don't have like just a concrete answer of like, how do we keep saying? We don't honestly fucking know how we have kept saying. Strength, God, perseverance, understanding that like we have to keep it together for our own people. We don't know, because it has never been a time in America where it had not been a racist country, ever, never. So imagine being a Black person living in a country that has always been built on your oppression. It's difficult, but it's our reality.
So with all these things going on, do you like, for you personally, do you think that maybe Black people collectively traveling, for example, former slaves did that freed themselves, they traveled to Liberia and formed their own country there. Would you be, are you in the future like looking at moving out from America, maybe settling in Africa or in another place that gives you more peace? Do you consider that kind of thing?
I, I have been to Africa, and it was an amazing thing. I have been there, and I know Ghana has a thing where they, are saying, telling African Americans like come back home, and like they are offering us citizenship and all of that. Um, I think that I kind of am at a dilemma about that, because I feel like, one, I was in the army for 9.5 years. I fought for this country. My father was in the army. My grandfather
Wow.
was in the Air Force. I don't feel like I should have to pick up and leave my country
Yeah,
to be at peace or to have a space for my people, because everything here is ours before it's theirs. Everything
absolutely.
here was built on the backs of my ancestors
Yeah,
for free. Go somewhere else to have peace, to have a space, and to have equality somewhere that is really ours before it is yours. But sometimes you do think like it's never going to get better here, rooted in. So there have been moments where I have sat down and thought about packing me and my kid up and being like, you know what, I'm gonna go somewhere else for Black. But then that's not something that is plausible for all Black people. And so
yeah,
as a
yeah.
Black person who, and I am pro-Black, I feel that it, and I have to understand that if I am community, so I have to stay here and I have to try to do what I can to fix it for my son and his children and their children, because my ancestors fought for this. They died for this. They were killed for this tore up ass country that hated them. Like, they lost everything, their lives, they erased our entire history. And I just feel like, I just don't think that we should have to leave for you to give us our equality and our equity.
I also don't think, to be honest with you, I don't see this as a responsibility of any Black person in general, not only speaking for America, because you said earlier about the system. Actually, to be honest with you, the white people I see on TikTok from America, they are just the white people I see in Germany. It's the same thing, as in there's no difference other than the language, you know. Germans
Yeah.
are bloody fucking racist. The only difference is that here, I would say the racism is a little bit more like hidden. You know, it's not like straight up in your face. It's not like,
Right.
also, we don't have these gun laws, the one you have in America, right? Where everybody can just have a gun. It's not like this
Right.
here. Also, this trespassing thing and open carry states and all this bullshit. We don't have that here. And I personally think, one, I think that every Black person in America should be armed. And secondly, I don't think
Facts.
that the system of oppression and white supremacy is supposed to be changed, adapted, or in any way given any liberation by Black people, because y'all were not the one to
Right.
do that bullshit, right? So, and
Yes.
the funny thing is, what white people don't understand, we also suffer from that system in a way of that the elite, the people that keep that system alive. I mean, it's not only the dumb fucking racists you see all over the road or all over the place that keep enabling racism on a daily basis. I mean, the system is a lot deeper than that. And the thing is that the average white person, like me, for example, of course, I never asked when I was born. I was like, where's my white privilege? Come on, give it to me. So what I mean by suffering, of course, you cannot compare that to a Black person suffering, but we are also being fed lies. Like, we are also not being taught the fucking truth. Like, we've only
Right.
been on planet Earth for 8,000 years. Like, we've been brainwashed to believe we are superior. We can't
Right.
even stay in the sun without fucking dying. We are not superior to no fucking body, you know? So we've also been fed a lie to keep us divided, I mean, like, of course, true liberation for Black people, in my own opinion, can only be happening among Black people, which also has a form of segregation within itself, because at
But
one
I
point or the other,
totally believe.
honestly speaking,
I
yeah, sorry,
believe
what
it.
did you want
But
to say?
no, I'm saying I believe in separatism, and I believe that the worst thing that happened to us was integration in America. That's my personal belief. I believe that in order for Black people to heal, we have to be separate. We have to be separated. We need to be segregated because we have to heal. Like, not only do I'm not saying I don't think that we're not responsible for racism in white America and what they have done or what white people have done. I'm saying that I'm obligated to help my people. And I'm
Yeah,
obligated to try to push a narrative forward that we need our own space to heal and to thrive. We very
exactly.
much so should get reparations. And in those reparations, we should have a lifetime free of therapy because we need that. We have been traumatized
Yeah,
beyond fucking belief. And
yeah,
it is very true that when you tell white people things like all people came from us, your white skin is just a genetic mutation because you
exactly.
moved away from the equator and you adapted to where you were geographically. Nobody understands that. So my thing is, it's very much so, I believe in separating Black people from white people so that we can heal, because we need a space of our own. You can't heal or thrive or prosper or progress when you are still amongst your oppressors, when everything is still in a system of oppression. So I wholeheartedly believe that we're not going to be able to be better or different until we are separate. And I'm a firm
Honestly,
believer in that.
what you said about integration is bullshit, in my opinion, because like white people never integrated.
And I
White
think
people
it's sad that the
invaded.
world is like this.
Exactly,
And
like
I
white
think that if
people.
more white people thought like you, like, to understand that you are also being lied to.
Can you say that again? Your last sentence. Can you say that again, please?
Right.
Can you say your last sentence again?
And then Black people are the only people that people feel like we should not have a reaction of vibe. Oh, I said, and Black people are the only people that people feel like when violence is perpetrated against us, we should not react with violence. We're the
Exactly.
only people that are Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I mean, it's a little bit hanging, but it's okay. I'm hearing you.
Or no? You can't hear me?
No, no, no. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Hello?
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 Hello? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Let me see.
Okay, so like what we are talking about, the segregation thing, you know, I know that it sounds is very sensitive to people, but on one hand, I think that Black people have always made or been brainwashed into this peace and love bullshit, you know. Meanwhile, on the other hand, white people have never been taught to love or let love lead or be peaceful. You know, we've always been fed these narratives and stereotypes that we are superior, you know, that we discovered America, we discovered Africa, we civilized Africa, all this bullshit that's factually not true, you know. So all these things we've been fed lies. So sometimes I feel just like you said, and which is for me, it's a very hard pill to swallow because my husband is Black. So I love him, of course. I love his family and they're my family too. But at the same time, I know that systematically he's not safe with me. You know, that's the thing. Like if we were out together and there's a certain extent my privilege will like extend to him, you know, that for example, he will most likely not be stopped or randomly controlled if he's with me. That's because of white privilege. But at the same time, if he was supposed to be in any way arrested or whatever, they will go harder in even at that because my privilege does not extend to him, to my kids, whatever, you know. Systematically, I am his oppressor, you know. So I know that Black people are not safe around white people, no matter how anti-racist we might be or how aware we might be. We are still systematically the oppressor, whatever, you know, until we've changed the system. So what you said very much, Black people cannot heal when they are still being oppressed. It's not possible. You cannot expect a child that's been raised in an abusive household to heal from the wounds while somebody keeps beating that child. That's not working, you know, especially when white people make zero move to make a change. Like that's the point. Like, you know, you see people like Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott has been educating white people for over 20 years now. And what change have we achieved? Like, we are still in 1933. You know what I mean? And Germans are the same bloody racist than Americans. Any white person is like that. I mean, of course, there are white people like me now. Best believe I don't run around calling Black people the N-word, you know, but I still benefit from oppression. I still benefit from racism financially, systematically, you know, economically, personally, socially, on so many levels. So what white people don't want to understand is that we have to change that. We have to take that system in our own hands, break it apart, and let Black people, all of us together, form something new where everybody has their space and everybody can heal, which includes bringing all these nonsense borders in Africa down, the system around visa. How bloody racist are visas, please? Currencies. Why is African currencies, why are they less worth than the euro? Because the white man says so. You know, why is the US a world power? Because the white man said so. So I don't very much understand when Black people are like, oh, like in your daily life now, you need to, am I right? Like you need to be careful around white people. Is it not like, I bet you'll be reserved around white people, aren't you?
That I need to be careful around white people?
Yeah, in a certain way, of course. I mean, from my own understanding,
I
like,
think that, yeah, I'm always very extra attentive when I'm around white people. I watch everything they do. I watch everything they say. I watch exactly how they move. And it's not out of a fear of them. It's because I know what you're capable of.
Exactly.
And I be damned if you pull like I'm always, yes, very like, I'm very uncomfortable anywhere where there are like a significant amount of white people and I don't see enough of me or more of like it makes me very uncomfortable simply because I know what you are capable of as a white person. So yeah, and I agree with everything that you're saying 100%. And I think that it is very, I don't know, it's crazy to me what they want Black people to accept and what they want us to like endure. It fucking blows my mind. And at the end of the day, like I said, the fact that we are the only people that are taught or expected to not react with violence when violence is always being perpetrated against us is crazy to me. There is no people in history that you have ever heard of that have fought for their freedom or their liberation without violence. No people,
because it's not possible. It's simply not possible.
But that is the thing. They want us to march and protest and hold up signs and kumbaya. No, sir, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have the conversation about how do my people become a part of white America. No, I want you to give me my equality and my equity by relinquishing your white privilege and leave us alone. I don't need you to fix me, white person. I need you to do what is right, which is I need my equality, which means you have to dismantle every system that has ever been in place.
Everything.
And I want my equity because you owe me all my money and everything that I want, all of that, and then leave my people be.
Yeah.
And no, violence is always perpetrated against us, and everybody, and then we're expected to just be like, okay, and be meek and be weak. No people in the history of ever have obtained their freedom or their liberation without violence.
Yeah.
And it's sad that after all of this and after all of these years of asking and coming nicely and marching and still being murdered and still being hung and still being killed and still being thrown in prisons, because white America has used prisons as the new plantations for Black people. That is the new plantation for Black people, is prisons. That is exactly what they use that for.
I want to ask something about the prison. Is it true that in America, prisons are privatized, as in they are like private institutions, and that the government has a certain percentage they have to keep prisons filled up?
Yes. Yes.
How do you mean yes? Like that's literally justification for people putting people innocently in prison because they have to be filled up a certain, I don't know, maybe 80% of that. I don't know. I'm not aware. But if that is really the thing, if prisons are private and in cooperation with the government, and the government has an obligation to keep the prisons filled up to a certain amount of percentage, that's literally the explanation and justification for people being innocently in prisons. Why are people not seeing this? How? I don't understand. Like in Germany, our prisons are from the government. We don't even have the death penalty, although it's very much necessary sometimes. But okay, you know, it's not here. It's not happening here. You know. So I mean, I'm not saying that Germany is better. Don't get me wrong. You know, like shit is shit. No matter if it is shit out by a man or by a woman, it's still shit. You know. So both countries are still shit. But what I'm wondering, you have a son. He's 12, right?
13.
13. So my son is going to be 12. When does he go to an American school, like a or do you homeschool
him? My son is in private school. Has been in private school his whole life.
Okay, so is there a difference between a private school and a government run school when it comes to the truth in the education system?
Well, you have to find the right private school, because no, private school is just better education, better teachers, better access to information and things that you don't get in private schools because they are funded by the government. And in America, education is not high on the priority list.
Yeah,
period.
It tells.
Yeah. So, but my son actually goes to a school where they actually have a very, very great African American program. And my son started a program at his school called Black Leaders of Tomorrow, which is where they actually study a different Black person in history every month. They do a different person. They study a different person for a whole month. My son is he's very pro-Black. He's very into, his community, but essentially, no, there is no difference. There really isn't. You have to find a school that actually has the curriculum that you need or want for your child.
And that can be difficult, raising a Black child in America, right? Like, how do you address those issues with him? Like, I mean, I know from my child, he's sensitive. I'm not going to lie to you. He's a sensitive person. He's very emotional when it comes to his father's side, his Nigerian family, Black history in general. I do talk a lot about him, about American Black history too, because here, even in Germany, I don't know, because what the fuck concerns us with Columbus, but here we are, they teach my kids in school that Columbus discovered America. Surprise, surprise, I bet you it's the same thing. The whitewashing is everywhere. So, and I know some people argue this out, but my child is seen as Black in Germany. That they are not like, oh, we are only going to give him half the treatment of the racism. We are only, let us claim half of him. It's not like that. He's been seen as Black. It has been like that all his life. So he's very emotional when it comes to those things. Like when George Floyd was murdered, he wanted to go to a Black Lives Matter demonstration in Germany here. To emotionally get over. It was hard. He had sleepless. He cried. He was very much like, then the whole situation about Tamir, all these things came in, and we talked about different people. And he has access to TikTok. He has access to the internet. And it started wanting the inclusiveness, identifies with Black people. So he was like, this could be any one of us. So that hurt him a lot. So how does your child take those things? Sorry, I got a call. How does your child take those things?
My son is very, because it's the same in America. If you have a Black parent, you are Black. It does not matter what your other parent is, you are Black. But my son very much so is emotionally invested and connected to his Blackness and to the things that happen to Black people. And it's very difficult because Black Americans are starting to become desensitized to the death of us. Because every time we get on the internet or we watch TV, it's another one of us being killed in the street or being murdered. And you become numb to it because it's so painful that like you have to almost remove yourself from remove yourself from the process of like, oh, this is really happening. So for me, I started with teaching my son who he was at a very young age, outside of what you will learn in America, son. This is who they will tell you are here. But let me tell you who we really are. And let me tell you who you really are. So that when you get in this world, no one can take that from you, nor tell you that you're less than. So here in America, we have to very much so teach our children at home, because there is nowhere here where they will teach our history correctly everything here is whitewashed to the point where white people actually believe it because they have been told it so many times over hundreds of years that they actually believe that it's the truth. So not only do we have to educate our own kids and educate ourselves, we then have to educate our kids on how to act when they're around police officers, what to do when they're around white people, how to everything that we are teaching our children is just purely about survival, not even about living. And no, you can never understand how hurtful and how damaging that is as a mother, as a father, that everything you have to teach your child is about surviving, not even about enjoying life and living and doing what makes you happy. And no, I have to teach my Black son how to live, how to not be killed just for simply being Black because his skin has been weaponized. Being Black in America is an everyday struggle with your emotional and mental and spiritual well-being. It is an everyday struggle.
So how does that affect his relationship to maybe his white students that go to school with him, or because I know from my son, he, just like you said, he's very cautious, and because he has been put in positions where he has been accused of doing something whereby the actual predator was a white child and he wasn't believed simply because the other person was a white child. So he has experienced this white privilege first-handed, where he was being turned into the victim where he was literally innocent, So he has seen what white people are capable of even at tender age, which is, it gives him a whole different struggle because his mother is white, So it makes him, he's always in between. I love my mother, but she's white. And I need to be careful around other white people, even though my mother is white, So does that affect your son in the way he interacts with other white people?
Does it affect my son because what? Because
knowing who he is, knowing what America is, does it affect the way he interacts or he hangs out or with white kids at his school in general?
Yes, it has. My son, he very much so kind of stays in his own circle of friends. My son honestly only has one white friend, and that one white friend he has, we had an altercation with his white father because he called my son the N-word. So my son's white friend, his mother is the one that really went hard to her ex-husband, no, you're not going to do that, you're not going to teach my son this. But yeah, so my son only has that one white friend and all of his other friends are Black or Puerto Rican or Dominican, but they're all people of color and mostly Black. So it very much so has warped my son's sense of I think that Black people in general just don't have the luxury of being oh, people are people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury to not see color. White people be oh, I don't see color.
Oh, well, come on, get out.
Which is crazy. But okay, you say that, but you have that luxury. Black people, we don't have that luxury. Yeah. Because we're the first thing you see, even before my gender, even before anything else that I am Black in America. Before I'm a woman, before I'm a mother, before I am anything else, I am Black. And my son is very, it has made him very almost militant in a way in his mindset and very proud in his Blackness, very strong in that, and very much so, yes, in a militant mindset to where anything that he feels like is not benefiting his community or his culture, he does not want to be a part of.
And that's beautiful. It's beautiful that he thinks like that, but it's sad that he's being forced to think like that, honestly.
Right.
Wow.
It's exhausting, and it's sad that we have to be like that, but it is the reality of things. And like I say, I tell, my content on TikTok is apparently controversial, and a lot of people don't agree with me. But
no, it's not controversial. It's only controversial for those that don't want to see. I'm white.
Right,
I've not for one day, honestly, I've not for one day been offended by your videos. But when I go to the comments, that's what offends me, because I see a bunch of fucking crackers being insulting, being openly bloody racist. Meanwhile, you are like you're on your camera, you are calm. I'm looking at you and I'm like, what you're spitting is fire, but your face looks like an angel. You're just calm. You're just there. You explain yourself. You explain the words, and still people don't get it. And still people insult you, come at you. And this is it. Sometimes I'm angry on your behalf, honestly speaking. I'm like, how does he stay calm? It's very painful. Very, very painful.
I will say that I am very firm in my pro-blackness. My pro-blackness does not equate to anti-whiteness, but the reason that white people think that my pro-blackness is equal to anti-whiteness is because pro-whiteness has always been rooted in anti-blackness and racism. So you automatically assume that. But I will say that, like, as a Black person, I do not have to explain why I love my Black self. I do not have to explain to you or continuously educate white people on racism or what the fuck you're doing is why it's wrong. I am very firm in the fact that, like, I am only concerned about my people, the wellness, the peace, the health, the wealth of my own people first and foremost. I have no energy, no space, no time left to be concerned about any other group of people. And if you don't agree with that then you don't have to watch my content. But I have to do what is best for the progression and the betterment of my people and my people alone, because we are all we have. Because nobody else is going to do it for us. Because nobody else has cared in 400 plus years, in 500 years, to make any type of change to help us, to truly help us. Nobody is going to do it if we don't do it ourselves. So TikTok has given me a platform to do that, and I'm thankful for that, even if I get a lot of backlash or whatever the case may be. And I would like to say that I am thankful for people who are truly allies like you, who really know the meaning of what allyship is, who understand that does not mean that you get to speak for Black people, or you get to be in the spotlight, or you get to just make videos that you think are cute and then pat yourself on the back because you feel like, oh, I've done something for Black people today. That also allyship is very much so tied into every day you have to put in the work and the effort to be anti-racist. To be anti-racist, even if that means going against your own people. Allyship is very much so rooted in doing what's right. And not a lot of people understand that. And I think that I have seen the comments on your videos as well, and some of the things that have been said. And I'll be like, child, these people are so, like,
stupid.
They are literally mentally ill. But the fact that you still get up every day and you do the same work. And I also understand that is very much so rooted in the fact that you are married to a Black man and you have Black children.
Of course.
So while you could never understand your Black husband or your Black children's experience as being Black, I understand that the work that you are doing is rooted in the fact that you love your Black children and you love your Black husband, and you are trying to do what's best for your family. So I would like to applaud you for that and say that, like,
no, stop.
You are seen, and and Black, we are thankful for your girl not trying to be Black. Thank you so much. Thank you for not trying to emulate us. Thank you for not trying to make us out to be caricatures Black women. Thank you for simply just being a white woman who understands that you have Black children who are growing up in a world where they are only seen as Black and they will be treated as Black, and that it does not matter who you are, your children will be treated like Black people because they are only seen as such because they have a Black father. And for you to really sit down in yourself and understand that. And understand that even though you love them, you do not understand. You could never understand. But to at least try to educate other white people and to put in the work and to try to make something better for your children, it is something that you should really be proud of.
Damn.
Because they came from you, but in this world, they will not be seen as that.
That's
and
so
I
fucking
think that
painful.
if more white mothers who had biracial children understood that you cannot surround your Black children by your racist family, understand that you cannot negate their Blackness just because you are their white mother, because you are really doing your biracial children a disservice. So for me to see your content and see that you truly understand that my children are Black and that I have to do what is best for my children, even if that means going against myself. Because you as a white woman, literally every day get on this app and go against yourself and your people. But to understand that this is what I have to do because it's for my children, not even exclude your husband, but for your children, is something that you should very much so be proud for. And I just want to tell you that I know that it's not easy. And I know that it's difficult, but it is worth it. What you are doing is worth it. What you are doing is giving your Black children a sense of pride in their Blackness, and also a sense of like, my white mother loves me enough to understand that my Blackness comes before everything else. And she's going to work so that I don't have to be mistreated because of that. And I just want to say that, like, I think it's amazing what you're doing. And I am super proud of you. And I'm super, super thankful and grateful for your allyship and the fact that you are not traumatizing and harming your Black children, because it happens every day. So if you should be proud of nothing else, be proud of the fact that you are not traumatizing, nor harming, nor taking or negating anything from your Black children. And you should be proud of that, like very, very proud of that.
Okay, stop it. Stop it. Damn, that was.
Just saying, sometimes we need to hear these things. Sometimes we need outside people to give us not affirmation, but like let us know, like, okay, like, because I know this journey is difficult as a Black woman who get taped every day, all day for being Black and speaking my truth and being pro-Black. I understand how hard it is, and sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, like, you know what, you doing a good job, or you know what, girl, I know that shit hard, but good, just keep pushing. I know shit get bad, get terrible sometimes, but like, keep pushing, because you are a white mother to Black children.
Well,
so yeah,
you know, I'm what you whoa, okay. Thank you so much for what you just said. But you know, the thing is that first of all, when I met my husband, I was a Karen. I'm not going to lie. I've said that so many times. I was a Karen. I was like, oh, I don't see color. Oh my God, we are all the same. I was in my pink, white, privileged bubble, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but at the same time, you know, because people often ask me, oh, why a Black man? You know, the thing is that I grew up in a broken home, to be honest with you. And when I met my husband, I was at a very dark place. Like, I was at the emotionally, mentally. I was at a very dark place. And it was literally a coincidence. We had the same circle of friends, you know. We knew each other just from randomly, hi, how are you, you know? And then it was just meant to happen like this, you know. It was never, because that time I met him, I was not really looking for anything. You know, I wasn't even ready for anything because I wasn't even okay with myself. So when I started realizing things are the way, it's not even, I don't even believe in allyship, to be honest. I'm not correcting you, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what you said is wrong. For me, I feel like when white people are being, or even, that's even worse. Like in your case, you called me this, you know, but there are white people that are outside there. Oh, I'm an ally. You know, they put BLM in their bio and they think they have done something. Meanwhile, this is what we have: 600 years of white silence as collective guilt on our shoulders. Like, shut the fuck up. You are not fucking anybody. For what I'm doing is the bare minimum. And why I'm saying it's the bare minimum is every video I make, there are 1,000 people hating and there might be just 5 people understanding, you know?
Right.
So it's still the bare minimum until there are 5 people hating and 1,000 people understanding.
Right.
Until then, it's the bare minimum and nothing more, you know? And of course, it's fucking painful, honestly speaking. Like, I know if I leave this house with my kids, I have been with my 2 sons when I was pregnant with my daughter, and a woman complimented me for adopting Black children, for dedicating my life to devoting myself to helping Black kids. Meanwhile, I don't know if you've seen my first son. He looks like me, like he has my face. He's like me, you know? And then that bloody racist bastard came up and be like, oh, it's so nice that you took these children into your care. I was like, they came out of my vagina. What do you mean by care? You know, I was offended. So there are so many things that this is what we are. This is the only thing we are supposed to do. Like, and sometimes people tell me, oh, you're trying to be Black, or you're intruding Black spaces. Last time I checked, white people invented racism. Racism is like the whitest thing in human history. It doesn't get whiter than racism. So me talking about racism is like being white, you know, it's like being the whitest I could ever be. So yeah. It's just that Black people are in the victim situation or in the oppressed situation. That's why sometimes, and of course we cannot have this conversation. I wouldn't be sitting here, and this one goes out to you now, if I didn't have women in my life, both online, offline, distant and near, that are teaching me their ways. This conversation I'm having with you, or your content, and there are hundreds of Black women. I learned from you people. I didn't wake up one day and I was like, oh, white privilege is a thing. Let me go and educate white people. No, Black women made me realize all these things, you know, in particular, Black women. It's Black women that taught me how to take care of my children's hair. It's Black women that tell me how to lay my daughter's edges, you know, how to take care of their Blackness. How am I going to do that? I'm white, you know? So if I don't have the Black woman as a counterpart, as someone to guide my way, I can't do this, you know? But at the same time, we need to protect Black people, but leave them alone, you know? Protect them by leaving them alone. And that's what so many white people don't understand.
Protect us by leaving us the exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Protect me by leaving me alone, child. Leaving me alone. And I will say that, like, I don't give kudos to white people for doing what the fuck is right. But when I see someone who is truly, because there's not many, regardless of what white people say, there are not many allies in white people. I don't care. They be out here swearing they are, but the lies. So when I actually see somebody like this actually doing the work, I do go out of my way to say, hey, thank you for actually being an ally, because it is not, y'all are very far and few between. Everybody screams Black Lives Matters in their bio, and everybody screams that they're an ally, but that is the furthest thing from the truth. So that's why I always take the time to, like, acknowledge, like, okay, hey, I acknowledge you really are an ally. So let me just say thank you for doing the work. But, like, I'm not giving white people kudos out here for doing, like, because you definitely you should just not be racist. Like, you just shouldn't be. But it's crazy when you really think about how the world is and what the fuck has happened and how people really think, it really is crazy.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. And I think that is really something that, like, I just want, what you just said was absolutely protect us by leaving us alone. Like, leave me alone. Like, that's how you want to do me. You want to do Black people justice. Please just even the playing field and then leave us the fuck alone. That's all we want y'all to do. We not asking for nothing else. Give us our equality. Give me my equality and my equity, and go on about your business, and we gonna be all right. Like, exactly. Yeah. That was a word right there. Protect us by leaving us the fuck alone. Thank you. Thank you. Be blessed, beloveds. Get away from us. Be blessed, beloved.
Now carry your whiteness out my face.
Yes, take your white ass on over wherever you going, but leave Black people alone. Because that's how we just look like, damn. And it's so hard for white people to leave us alone. For a group of people that white people say we are less than and y'all are spirit us and they hate us and we ain't shit, they always worried about everything that they do.
I'm telling you, all the
it's
time.
It's nowhere that you can go in the world where Black people are not being emulated or where our culture has not touched. Nowhere in the world.
Because
and I have lived all over the world.
It's Black history, and Black history is human history.
And
this
so
cannot
for
go
y'all
apart.
to say that y'all not worried about us or we ain't shit, y'all sure always be worried about us. It just be sad. I'd be like, you know, that just leave Black people alone.
Do you know that saying? My name must be tasting pretty good because it's always in your mouth.
Always.
Oh my God!
Always, even when we not worried about you, even we not. Everything is about. Why do you? And I be asking white people too. Why do y'all be so pressed about us? Like, why do you as a white lady get on TikTok with box braids and long nails and eyelashes and think that means just to try to trigger Black women? Why are you so pressed about us?
Because they want to be you so badly. That's what it is.
What I'm saying, because once upon a time, box braids and long nails and hoop earrings and big asses was ghetto. That's what they said about us. But then when white people made it trendy, now, but then when it's not trendy to you anymore, you feel like you could just throw it away. No, quit trying to appropriate our culture, profit off of it, while still discriminating against us for it and oppressing us. Like, make it make sense, white people. So we were very much so like, but yes, y'all leave us the fuck alone. Yes, dismantle all of these systems that are oppressing us, and then give us our money because you owe us a lot of it, and then leave us alone. That's all. And I promise you, we will not bother y'all no more. If white people really want Black people to be out there, like if y'all really just be like, we don't want to, I promise you, if you just dismantle all of these systems because America was founded on principles of racism, every system here was built on principles of racism. If you just dismantle that and give up your little white privilege, child, and just dismantle that and give us our money, very much so run us all our money because we need all that, right? And then you don't know. I promise you, you'll never have to worry about another Black person no more. Y'all probably won't even know where we at. Y'all won't hear from us or nothing. Do you hear me?
Take your unseasoned food and go to hell.
Right. Because once y'all give us our money, we gonna have our own schools, our own grocery stores, our own banks, our own everything. Child, y'all won't even see us nowhere. One day y'all will look up and be in a grocery store and be like, I ain't seen a Black person in here about a year. You know why? Because y'all gave us our equality and our equity and y'all left us alone. And we went over here and minded our business. Like, I promise you, white people, listen to me. If you want Black people to get out your face, this is what you do. Dismantle every system that is meant to oppress us and run us our equality and then run us our money because you owe us a whole bunch of that. And then leave us alone. I promise you're not going to see us. Y'all gonna be looking for Black people in the daytime with a flashlight, girl, and ain't gonna be able to find us because we gonna be somewhere minding our business. Do you hear me?
Not the flashlight, please.
They gonna be looking for us in the daytime with a flashlight because they not gonna be able to find us. Because once you run us our money and give us our equal, we finna build everything Black. Black schools, Black businesses, Black restaurants, Black, because the problem is the gap in wealth is so huge that we aren't able to sustain our own community like we need to. But if you give us all the money that you owe us, white people, child, let me tell you something. You won't see us nowhere. We will have no reason to be nowhere you at. We're not gonna be in your grocery store, your gym. We're not gonna be by your gas. We're not gonna be nowhere you at. You know why? Because we're gonna build all our own shit and we're gonna be over here minding our business. So when y'all be looking for us, just know we told y'all all we want is for you to run us our shit and leave us alone. I just feel like they can make it so easy. But it's like they want it to be difficult. You want black people to be in your shit every day. Because y'all would not do right. So listen. This is what you need to tell. This is what you tell your white people. You tell them, you say, hey, if y'all really want black people to get on, this is what you do. Dismantle every system of oppression. Run them all their money. I need all my reparations. I need lifetime free therapy. Run me all my money, all the money, all of it. And then leave them be. And I promise you, y'all gonna see how black people get gone. Y'all ain't gonna never see us get gone away from y'all for so quick. We gonna be gone. We gonna be gone.
That being said, I think that's it for today, right? Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me today.
This was really good. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
I think you should continuously have these uncomfortable conversations. This is really, really good what you're doing. This is great.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You be safe out there, right?
You too. All right, bye-bye.
Take care, bye.